is 5:15. It is June 7th. We are in council chambers, so I will call the meeting to order. Jane, you want to do roll call?
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Here.
Blatt.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Lindbergh.
Here.
And Councilmember Rudolph is working the election poll, so she will not be present.
Okay. I think everybody's received the agenda. I had a chance to look it over. I didn't see anything that was going to be added or deleted, everything. So is there a motion to approve the agenda that's been presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Peterson.
Roll call. Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindbergh.
Aye.
Thank you.
And if there's any conflicts that come up, I'm sure somebody will mention that to us when we get there. So under the consent agenda, there are 3 items. Minutes of the May 17, 2022 City Council meeting. Claims list number 1257, the amount of $1,500,870.26. That's got to be sitting in the chair, that's got to be a pretty high number. I know you're nearing the end of...
New mayor fault.
Yeah, it's not the new mayor. It's probably salaries of council since I left, I'm guessing. So, and then C, renewal application, Shelby County Fair Corporation Class B beer permit. Everybody had a chance to look at that? I know there were some of the claims, and Ashley kind of put that out there. There's some
Right.
larger
Yeah,
ones
we
that
could
kind of toward the end of our
note some of
fiscal
those,
things that are being paid.
You want to go through those, Jane?
Sure.
as well?
The bond and principal and interest for the bond payments was $922,190. Shelby County Emergency Management, our quarterly payment our payment number 2 was $58,315. Precision Concrete was $267,680 for airport apron project. Kirk and Michael engineer fees for airport projects, $37,887. HMU is our utilities, one call, and the $80,000 reimbursement. So that totaled $100,066. And that was for back on the Harlan Plaza project that we owe HMU on. So we're splitting it $80,000 this year, and the rest is going to be paid next year. And then an EBS monthly insurance payment of $32,595. So the total of just those large ones is $1,400,000. So there were 82,000 other miscellaneous bills that totaled that $1,500,000.
Anybody have any questions about that? With those? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaven.
Roll call. Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindbergh.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then moving on to other business, there is a proclamation for Ride Transit Week for the week of June 13th through the 17th. I will read this. I guess it's not real long. So.
You got some representatives here.
Oh, we do? Okay. Well, maybe they want to read it then. So, but no, I was impressed with the numbers that I'm going to read are very impressive for what, and we all kind of just assume we see a van, a bus, and people in that, and I have people at my establishment that catch rides. I don't catch them, and you deliver them to my establishment and back, and that's a very valuable, what you provide is very valuable to our community. So thank you for being here. And so I will go ahead and read this. I'm not going to put the whereases in, but I will read it. Proclamation for the Office of the Mayor. Public transit provides the citizens of Harlan access to medical, business, employment, social, and supportive services. Public transit allows individuals to remain independent, contributes to economic development, reduces traffic congestion, decreases emissions, and improves rural mobility. Harlan is served by an outstanding public transit system, Southwest Iowa Transit Agency. Even during the pandemic, over 377,000 rides were provided by Southwest Iowa Transit Agency during the fiscal year 2021, with over 1.8 million miles traveled. That's a lot, because we're not a real big county. City of Harlan recognizes the important role that public transit professionals play and wishes to acknowledge that role Public transportation in Harlan is provided by the collaborative efforts of the Iowa Department of Transportation and Southwest Iowa Transit Agency to provide resources to transport individuals every day. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Harlan City Council proclaims the week of June 13th through the 17th at 2022 as Ride Transit Week in Harlan. Proclaimed on this day, 7th day of June in 2022. Jay Christensen, Mayor. So again, thank you for being that service that we people.
Can I ask for a quick clarification?
Sure, you want to stand?
Yeah, sure. So I'm CJ Peterson. I'm the new communications coordinator over at SWIPCO and SWIFT. So I know Todd pretty well. He's the chairman of our board, but I should have stayed home if I knew this guy. Anyway, so I grew up in Southwest Iowa and Atlantic, and then I'm now back. It's great to be in a place where everybody spells the name Peterson correctly again with the E-N. But I did bring Dwayne Heminger. He's a longtime driver with SWITA, and just received an award, a leadership award at our driver meeting this spring. And he actually drives, gives a lot of taxi rides here in town. So I want to clarify the numbers. So the 377,000 rides and the 1.8 million miles is in the 8-county region that we serve. So, and if anybody's wondering at home, it's 7.5 times to the moon and back. So that's 1.8 million miles. So I wondered if it would be all right to for Dwayne to get a picture with you folks with the proclamation just for our records, and then we won't take up too much of your time. So.
Let me get the official.
I do.
You want to do that now, Jim?
He charges for photos.
I'm the PR guy, so I gotta,
Let me get the official proclamation.
Here.
You got it?
And thank you all very much for your support of SWIPCO and what I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is city council.
Break the camera.
You just want to stand.
Oh, wherever you want to go, man.
You guys you guys can be.
Yeah, if you guys want to.
We'll just be background.
Stand together.
You get all paid, you get all the way.
Yeah, the Missouri Valley City Council meeting starts at 6.
Oh, we got to get there then.
Thank you for that.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you see this guy a lot driving around town. So.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I can't get too close to my phone.
What's that?
Said I go.
Glare coming off the forehead.
Jane was reaching for that.
Oh, should you want it back?
Well, you got one.
Here, you can have that one. Okay. All right. Next up then would be to review the request from Jerry Henscheid for an extension of the Iowa Catalyst Grant deadline to October 31st, 2022. I know Jerry's here. Do you want to say anything beforehand, Gene? I know we had a meeting yesterday.
Yeah, I'm happy to introduce it,
Yep.
and then I think it'd be helpful for have Jerry address the council. The Catalyst project was awarded 2 years ago, more or less, and it's the 601 Court at the corner of 6th and Court downtown. And there was one extension granted. Jerry has made tremendous progress, and that extension was through June of this year. And in consultation with IEDA, Iowa Economic Development Authority, and their contacts there, as well as the building owner, looking at an extension to see completion of the project. The committee, HHPC committee met yesterday, in which some of these updates were provided to them as well. You received an update today as well, which Jerry may address from the local banking institution in terms of their support and continued support to see the project through. And with that, I'll just, if you want, Jerry, you don't need to go through all of it. These are the minutes from yesterday, but this was a list of what's been completed. So the top bullet list is what has been completed, and then these are all items you received in the past day. Yet to be completed is the work to complete. This was Jerry's official request to you that was received, and then this also was the letter of support and status from Shelby County State Bank and the lending institution. And then lastly, Roger Beeson, who's our building inspector, has continued to be on site, was just on site last week, with updated inspections and photos. Here's a front view. Tuck pointing is complete on the east side, which is on this side, back to the front. Tuck pointing needs to be completed on the front. You have the entire lower level, which is where there's been a tenant, which is due north. All the lower windows, the glazing, all of the lower level. In fact, some of you have been in the lower level with a visit, so that has been completed. And I'll quickly thumb through some of these photos. These were taken last week. You may remember photos from 3 to 4 months ago. So all the drywall's in, mud taped. Really, all the new windows are in, which are an excellent enhancement. You'll see a nice feature here, and I guess I point this out.
Yeah.
So where the cursor is, and I think this next one's a close-up, but a skylight, if you will, to the upper windows that will allow more natural light in. Really stands out now that that drywall is finished. And then there are 2 apartments on the upper level, 2 bedroom, 1 bath in both. This is the front apartment. This is looking back. So the flooring here is going to be completely refinished, so that's on the to-do list yet. This is looking back. Here's the original floor. This is back to the kitchen area. It'll be open concept. This will be a laminate or a tile floor, but not the original. And then this is one of the bedrooms in the first apartment. Bathroom, so you can see some of the HVAC equipment. Plumbing's all been stubbed in, all the electrical stubbed in. All the HVAC is stubbed in, so it's just finished work on those items. This is the hallway looking back to the south that eventually goes to, this is a washer-dryer area in apartment 1. So again, you can see where it's been finished off and hook up for the appliances there. I believe this is another bedroom in apartment 1. And this is as you then get into, down further in the hallway, this is, on the left side of this picture is the entrance to apartment number 2 that comes up from the stairwell. And then some interior photos of apartment number 2. This looks back to the kitchen area. You can again see some of the original wood floor and also a lot of the original exposed brick that will remain exposed. And then this is looking back to the southwest in that apartment number 2. You can see some upper storage where looks like some really good use of the space, upper story. This is HVAC and
water heater, furnace,
in apartment 2, in laundry facilities in apartment 2. Then I think another bedroom in apartment 2. Looking back to the bathroom in apartment 2, and then another bedroom in apartment 2. So that's a quick overview, at least what Jerry's presented to us to the city and to the committee. The original request for this project was reviewed by the committee, which was HHPC a couple of years ago. The committee reviewed it yesterday and made the recommendation or support back to council in terms of this extension. With that, I'll be quiet, and any updates that Jerry would like to add or questions you have for the property owner.
Are there any penalties for the extension?
There are no penalties for the extension. The Catalyst grant is a $100,000 grant. Jerry can maybe speak more to the overall project cost. Is likely around how much, Jerry?
about 300 and something.
So this is state funding of $100,000. The city was the applicant in the pass-through. At the midpoint, which was filed last fall, in which $60,000 was able to be drawn down at the midpoint. Council reviewed it at that time. 40 of that 60,000 has been extended to Jerry. And then at project completion, the additional 40,000 would be requested for a total of 100,000. So the remaining 60,000, the intention would be upon final certification and approval by you is when that final 60,000 would go to the property owner. Long answer, but no penalties for an extension. And we have consulted with Jim Thompson at IEDA. Jerry has as well. And they're aware that this extension may be coming. And it does need to come back through the council if approved. My last comment, which I've shared with you and I'll share it again, is that it will be a benefit to the downtown, to the community, to the property owner to see this through. It'll be a nice enhancement.
I think you stated yesterday, Jerry, a lot of, we know it's taking time, but just what we're in right now, we're still coming out of COVID and all that kind of stuff, getting people and getting materials. What you have left, a lot of it is under your control now. You had to rely on other people to get there, get things done the last 4 or 5 months, and that took time. Them making promises, waiting and waiting and waiting. So I think you gave a good explanation of where you were and where we are, and Kyle's taking my spot now on that committee, so he thought tonight's meeting might be long, he should have been there yesterday.
Yes.
It took a while, but it was very informative, and I think everybody wants it done. I know you do too, so I think, I don't have a vote, but I do support where we're going, where we've been, so.
And it should be noted too, very good job as far as keeping it historical, I guess, as far as leaving some of the original building concepts with the original wood. I know someplace you stated you had to put, overlay on that, but, as far as that, some of the pictures and the explanation that he gave yesterday, it will be a neat addition to the downtown Harlan Historical, so.
So does anybody have any questions for him? Looking at what we've gotten, I guess, the last day or two, so that information was forwarded on to you guys. Nope.
No, follow up on the penalty thing. When I talked to Jim Thompson in the last few weeks, if I would have asked for a year, they would have been okay with that. I said, I don't think I need a year. So the state has encouraged me to do the extension, but since the grant's with Harlan, the city of Harlan needs to ask for the request through the mayor, so.
I just know that process sometimes gets a little sticky in there, so just wanted to clarify that. But photos look like you made great progress.
Yeah, it's getting there. A lot of work yet, but it's getting there.
A few headaches,
Yeah.
just a few.
For instance, like Jay said, I don't know if I'm supposed to stand up or can I sit down? Does that matter?
Up to the mayor, how he wants you to address it.
I'm happy where you are.
So like Denison Drywall, they did the drywall. We started talking at Thanksgiving. They thought January, February. Come February, they said probably March. Well, it ended up being April. So I mean, just that kind of stuff happens. But first of all, I want to thank Jane and Todd for helping me write the grant, or we wrote the grant together a couple of years ago. And it's called a Catalyst grant. And I think what it did was catalyst, because what I've noticed in downtown Harlan, there's been 2, 3, 4 buildings sold lately. A few years ago, a building would bring $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 downtown Harlan. Now all of a sudden they're bringing $120,000, $150,000. So I think it's part of it's the investment Harlan made a few years ago with the CDBG grant. You guys spent $1 million, but I think that investment is starting to pay off. People are wanting to be downtown. They're wanting to buy buildings downtown and pay decent money or better money. Speaking of better money, the bank has been a supporter. A few years ago when I looked into this, that building wasn't worth much. As far as appraisal, the bank doesn't want to give you much money. Now all of a sudden, because these other buildings are starting to bring more, the comps are coming up downtown Harlan, all of a sudden the lenders are kind of willing to work with you. Because right now, a few years ago, if you would have spent a couple $100,000 on that building, if you sold it, you probably would have got 50. That doesn't make a lot of financial sense. But now, because of the investment downtown, I think people are willing to pay a little bit more to be downtown. So I think a lot of work and effort starting to pay off. Don't you agree, Todd? I think.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna continue to move forward. And again, the apartments that Jerry is doing, and then, we've got a couple of remodeled apartments already, but, almost start to showcase those. I mean, there are actually other cities that have economic development events where they give tours through remodeled downtown apartments to try to encourage people to use some of the USDA money and other dollars that are out there to remodel downtown. The more individuals we get living downtown, the more business attraction we'll get to the downtown area. We'll get a, nice bodega and a few other things could pop up pretty quick once we get some residents downtown.
I think so. I think we'll see. The catalyst is going to create more things downtown. So I think but no, you saw the list, so there is some work to do, but I think it's all doable now. I'm not so dependent on contractors at this point. The painting and all that I will do. The floor finishing I will do. I'm probably dependent on the HVAC guy yet, but generally I'm not so dependent on contractors anymore. It's kind of up to me to get a lot of this finished work done. So it will happen. So. I do want to make one plug. Westphalia's 150th, July, and that's why I have this beard. I'm one of 39 guys growing a beard. So I just wanted to let you know why I have a beard and why I have the t-shirt. So anyhow. And it's not on the 4th, it's actually July 2nd and 3rd, Saturday, Sunday. So. But thank you for your consideration, and like Todd said, it will be a definitely good addition to downtown. And I actually had a few people come up to me and say, how do you get that money? Because I know there's other people that want to apply for this grant or something similar, so I think we're going to see more improvements on second floors downtown.
So when we need a motion then to send the extension or apply for the
Yes.
grant? Okay.
Right, grant the extension.
If that's
I'll make that motion.
the way you're.
Okay. Motion by Peterson, second by Shaven.
Roll call, Shaven?
Aye.
Kroger?
Aye.
Blatt?
Aye.
Peterson?
Aye.
Lindberg?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for coming tonight, Jerry.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jerry.
Yep.
Thank you, Tom.
And I like everybody else, he has a job, so this is not his full-time job, so we all know it takes a lot of time to do what you're doing, but like I say, you're gonna get there, so.
Thank you.
Moving on then to C, we'll receive and file the minutes of the June 6, 2022 meeting, Harlan Historical Preservation Committee meeting, which was yesterday. Motion to receive and file those minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Lindberg.
Roll call, Shaven?
Aye.
Kroger?
Aye.
Blatt?
Aye.
Peterson?
Aye.
Lindberg?
Aye.
Thank you.
And then out of that meeting, we need to review the downtown upper story facade grant completion award request from 4 applicants, totaling $19,147.32.
And this would, it's on the agenda in the sequence for a reason. This is an excellent follow-up to the Catalyst grant and the continued investment that the council has supported the last number of years with our local matching grant program. Pleased to report that this will complete all of the grant awards last year. And these are the last 4, so you do have final approval. We've checked all the boxes, if you will, in terms of final inspections. And keep in mind that this $19,000 is actually $38,000 of, because it's half of what the investment's been on behalf of the property owner. The last 4 that were completed and everything turned in, and so Mr. Blatt, you will get a little bit of show and tell here.
Excellent. That's what I'm best
That, so here is, this was the Saha building, and this is on Market Street. It was the north side. It was to repaint, replace this window here, do some tuck pointing, and then if you've been by there here in the past few weeks, here's that finished product. So that entire north side's been done, new window installed, and tuck pointing complete. The second was, that was reviewed. This is also with the 601 Court, Jerry's building. He had applied a year ago for, to, if you will, combine or parlay with the Catalyst grant, and this was for all of the rough and electrical, and that was inspected, and these are the 2 panels, so all that's been done. And Roger been inspecting that, and those are complete. And then there were 2 buildings with Tony Carter, 1017th and 1023 7th. Here's 1017th. This is the before photo. This is where West Central is now, and I think furniture hookup. And that's the before photo. And then here's the after photo. All of the everything was done other than the windows. So the windows were removed due to delays and cost increases. But all the painting is done, all the wood's removed, the awnings are in, new doors to the buildings, and then the same on the, here was the before, the 1023. That's the before photo, and this included door, awning, painting, and everything was done other than the windows, and those were removed for reimbursement and will be applied on future grant. And that's the total of 19,000 in terms of anything. Kyle, you were at the meeting yesterday, or Jay. Anything else with? Again, it just complements the continued investment and revitalization of a nice downtown already.
You said they will be applying in the future for the upper story.
They would be eligible, and they've indicated they will be applying.
That'll really look nice.
That's all I had in terms of,
Did you get over there and get that LED light cable flipped up?
No.
No?
oh,
To-do list.
Okay. No questions on that? Is there a motion to,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
motion by Lindberg, second by Peterson?
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item D is resolution number 2498, approving the project transfers for fiscal year 21-22. Guessing this one's a Jane explanation or information.
Our dog park project is complete, and it does have a balance. And because it was part of the 2018 bond, our state auditors have let us know that it is perfectly acceptable to move those funds from this project to another one of the bond projects that was outlined in that 2018 bond. So we consulted with them and have decided the J.J. Jensen project had a negative balance, and so part of that $22,000 will be moved over to that J.J. Jensen project balance to zero that out. So that would be a zero project that's done. Any more J.J. Jensen things that are going through our park now that project is complete. And the rest of the $22,000, which is $8,615, will be moved over to the river access project. And we're hoping that we continue to work on that in the future. So this has all been consulted with through the auditors, and a resolution is recommended that the council approve to make that transfer.
Anybody have any questions about those items? Our motion to approve resolution 2498.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Blatt, second by Lindberg.
Roll call Shaven.
aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2499 is approving the designation of coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds for the city of Harlan.
This is a resolution that's been recommended that we pass, all cities that are receiving these funds pass. It states an intention of what we want to use those funds for. And during our budget process, it was discussed that we would use those for maintenance and repair of sewer lines, including grouting and lining, and stormwater improvement projects. Just because this resolution states those intentions, it does not stop the council from using those funds for other projects. These are have to be planned prior to the December 31st, 2024 deadline. So this is just a formality that all the cities are being asked to do, to state their intentions. So.
Any questions on that one? Is there a motion, resolution 2499?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Blatt.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next up is review the 2022 City Hall parking lot improvements. We want to go through individually all of these? Is that?
I can speak to the overall project because there are 4 action items that they all relate to the parking lot project, which the construction is complete. What an excellent enhancement. It's in use. And the item 1 there, the change order, that was for, as far as final quantities used, there were 17 cubic square yards additional concrete used, so that's what that $1,389 change order is on the construction. We went further out in the street and carried the curb lines further, and then made some modification to the southwest corner. So that's on the quantities. And then the pay app number 1 is, then item 2 is actually the pay apps to the contractor. And then the item 3 in the resolution is that the engineer has given their stamp of certification, and then that then kicks in the maintenance and performance bonds.
So I guess we need to do
One at a
individually,
time?
one at a
Yes,
time?
yes.
So is there a motion for number 1 for the change order for number 2 for that amount?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Lindberg.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then is there a motion for the payouts from number 1 and number 2 there?
Pay up 1 and 2.
Yeah, application at 1 and 2.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Kroger.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then is there a motion for the engineers certified of the completion of the project for number 3?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Blatt, second by Peterson.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then I think this must tie into what we just talked about, resolution number 2500, accepting the final completion of the 2022 City Hall parking lot improvements. Pretty much what you already talked about, Gene, is that?
Yes.
Okay, just kind of the final,
And one final item to that is we are waiting, so the only final payment on that will be the final payment to the engineer for their final inspection services and final phase, which was in the agreement. So as far as accepting it, completing the project and the contractor work is all done and paid for, or will be upon this approval.
okay, motion for resolution 2500.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Kroger.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
H, haven't seen this before. Resolution 2501, resolution authorizing competitive bids for entrance signs. Is this something new?
Thought Sharon might get a drum roll or
Just
something.
dropping this one on us, surprising us?
Trying to stay silent.
Okay, I'll turn this over to Gene again, just see what happens.
This will be the fourth go-around, and picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So, just a refresher. This is the plan and drawing for the 2 signs. This is out near Van Dees coming from south, and once again on the hillside coming from the north to the northwest of the Cyclone Water Tower. The plans and specs have not changed from the first 3 iterations, and we have removed a few barriers in communications and working with the DOT and Federal Highway Authority, such as there's no DBE, trying to make it less restrictive on contractors that do this type of work. And it's outside of the standard scope and processes of DOT and FHWA is why this is, so nice to have their support at this point. My recommendation will still stand, as I'd said before. If we don't achieve it on this go-round, we will scrap, I would recommend scrapping this funding stream. And we do it through another funding stream, and that's where the hold-up's been. It's a 3-week advertising, so it'll be the notice to advertise that will go through the state sites, the contractor sites, notice locally, 3 weeks, get concurrence with the DOT on bids, and then come back to you with a hopefully competitive bid, with construction starting no later than September 1st. And construction commencement does include ordering materials, so it doesn't mean they break ground. And then the project would need to be done by December 31st of this year is in the updated requirement. And with that, would have to address any questions and look forward to your support on this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve
I'd
this.
say we move right in. Good job.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Peterson.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
That one's been discussed a couple times, so it's okay.
Hopefully I'm a good luck charm on that one.
So yeah, you might be the guy.
Yeah.
I, review Harlan Municipal Airport monetary donation and gifts policy. we have a policy now, we're just gonna revamp it, or we're just gonna put something in
This
place
is-
because we don't have it?
This is something new, and it's modeled in almost a carbon copy of the Parks Commission and Parks Donation and Gift Policy. Felt it was important for those two commissions and those areas of public property have a formal policy and guideline that can be followed. Those are the two areas where these types of requests come up, and this provides guidance to those commissions as well as the managers for a consistent process. And the Airport Commission has already reviewed and approved this and would need final council blessing.
I just had one question, Jean, on the maintenance. I mean, if a person were to give a gift to the airport, say of a quality bench, that bench becomes in disrepair, can I, as the donor, fix it or maintain it? Or is that an option? Or is it only to remove it if it's in disrepair?
I would say each case may probably be a little different.
Okay.
Yet, maintenance, if it does fall in disrepair, unsafe, et cetera, and if the donor is not willing to fund either replacement or to provide those repairs, it will be removed.
Okay, thank you.
You have a plane you're gonna donate? I mean,
No, I was just a curious question.
Okay, just checking.
And it's helpful to have these in place for future generations or as transitions change. You can go back to, okay, what are the guidelines or what was in place when this was put in, this feature was first put in place.
Somebody want to make a motion on this one?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Platt.
Roll call, Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Platt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
City Administrator report.
I'll start out with just sync up on calendars, and for a reminder for you all and others in the public, there's some meetings coming up. Next Tuesday, there is for elected officials out at the airport, and I believe most of you are able to attend. And this is just a walkthrough, and I think the 8-Ball Flying Club was going to make available burgers and brats, so to see the improvements as well as these ongoing needs at the airport. So that's next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Also next Tuesday at 5 p.m., next Tuesday and Wednesday, just behind Todd over along the wall there, the steering committee for the Pioneer Park Playground will be interviewing and talking with the 4 manufacturers that have presented their proposals for layouts and equipment. And there'll be interviews with scoring methodology to hopefully hone in on those manufacturers to continue working with. That will be a great, will then feed into the master plan and an image that will definitely support the fundraising efforts. So that's taking place next Tuesday and Wednesday for the Dream Playground Steering Committee, and one or two of you may be at that. In addition, some just recent announcements. You've got some information the last few days, some today, that Thursday, July 21st, EMA is doing an ICS, which is Instant Command System for elected officials. That will be at the Turk Center at 6 p.m. Would highly encourage, even if you've been to one, it would be great to go to another one. And so you'll see that in your email if you haven't already. And then lastly, Monday, June 20th, a few of you are involved with the comprehensive plan update as we're nearing the final stage of that. And the steering committee, which involves Troy and then the mayor, will be Monday, June 20th at 5 p.m. As we review the status of the comprehensive plan. So those are a few calendar and schedule items if you haven't already seen those. Smattering of some other updates. Grass is growing if you can get a mowing in between some of the rains. I know our parks and facilities crew is doing their best to keep up to date, doing the very best. Property owners, there's been over 20 nuisances served to property owners, and that's an ongoing process. So we, police department, we do attempt to stay up on those with neighbors. Hopefully, if you see any excessively long grass, they may have already been served a notice, yet you're always welcome to call the non-emergency police number to report those, and that's an ongoing process. Also comment, in the last week, there's been some activity up on 12th Street near Walnut as well as near Grand. Excuse me, near Walnut and actually near Garfield, in which having to do some point repair for sewer that was due to damaged lines from previous boring. So apologize for any inconvenience that may have happened in those areas. Yet that's the result of construction activity that has happened in the past year or two. But those have been repaired now. Happy to report, I shared this with you through a written report, but let the public know and let HMU know as well that we were granted from Iowa Department of Public Health the waiver on utilizing discharge water if we need to go into further water conservation measures. That was the process we used last year in terms of replenished water. This was discharge water from the water plant. We had, if you may recall, we utilized a tanker truck, a lot of resources. Yet between having the HMU board support to use potable water through a tier 1, if hopefully don't have to go into tier 2, yet we have received approval for this request, and it's indefinitely. So if this were something we need to do in the future as well and follow the process that we have outlined for them. So that's a good news type of message. And true kudos to Terry Derringer with our health officer, the HMU representative Donald Cody, and Tim Miller that worked diligently in pulling a lot of information together for IDPH to receive that approval. So, hats off to everyone involved there. The swimming pool, follow up on that. The pool is up and running. Had a lot of activity. Pleased to report also, we've seen a trickle in of a few additional lifeguard applications. And as of most recent, and even talking with the staff today, things are looking good for the summer. Final comment on that is, and I shared this with you in a written report, is that I do foresee in the coming years or in budget planning, may need to continue to look at lifeguard wages. And this is not, we're not immune to what's happening in the marketplace. Doesn't matter if it's a public position or a private position. I think we can all acknowledge the challenges going on in the labor market. There were some adjustments made this year with bumping the base wage to $8.50 an hour, with incentives based on hours worked and reimbursements. Could get in the into the $9.50 or $10 an hour range and all said and done. Yet I believe that'll need to be looked at again at some point. So those are some pool updates. Any comments or questions or feedback you've heard about the pool thus far? I've been by a handful of times, and so it's definitely in use. Any feedback or comments you're hearing from the public? Or?
My kids utilize it, so it's a good thing.
Last couple of items.
A live shot in the field?
This isn't a live shot,
Close.
but
Thank goodness.
wanted to share just an example of how Mother Nature wreaks havoc, and but you bob and weave and adjust. This was yesterday at 11 o'clock down at our JJ complex.
A live shot.
This was one of the 5 fields. This was at 11 o'clock. Those fields were all being ready to be played, and practice was happening at 3 o'clock. A combination of effects resulted in that. One is yesterday's rain. Happened pretty quickly, so not much soaked in, but still there was water. Secondly, due to the combined efforts over the years with the Little League, the school, and the city with getting proper surface, which is AgriLine, it helps tremendously with field conditions. And then lastly, with Tony Kramer, who's the assistant park superintendent, and the JJ field crew, they were on this lickety-split yesterday. So all 5 fields were ready and playable last night. So, and that's what it looked like at 11 o'clock. So, a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes on that we may not always realize, and definitely want to extend our appreciation to that group.
Sounds like they might have to do it again here.
Sounds like,
Yeah.
well, I think the high school teams are in Atlantic. I'm
Oh,
sure there's
good.
Little League activities going on tonight that are being adjusted here as we speak. I believe this was at your, we handed these out, or Jane placed these. This is for the the annual conference. It's in Waterloo this year. I don't know if, I believe Sharon's attended a portion of or all of one before. It doesn't matter if it's your first time or this is an excellent event if you're able to make time away from your work schedules. Let Jane know or let myself know as we get registered for this. It will be in Waterloo this year, and it's usually the third week of September.
September 28th through 30th.
It's a lot, they moved it 1 week later this year. But if you'd like to attend, it's a 2.5 day or about 2 day, I guess. Excellent information, access and networking for yourself and other elected officials. And last update is shared with a few of you in other updates or meetings that future EMS and ambulance for our future is being evaluated. So currently with our Medevac private ambulance agreement through the Ambulance Commission, we know there's a sunset for that at some point. Yet now is the time that collectively the county, the cities, the city of Harlan, the hospital, have aggressively started looking at what might the future look like. There is not a determined solution or plan at this point. There have been a few stakeholder meetings involving all those agencies and the volunteers that are critical throughout the county, that we look at what are the going to best serve the future, what's sustainable and equitable. So a lot of current and ongoing discussions that are happening there. And I believe that's all I have. Unless you have comments or questions for me. A lot of updates, a lot of activity.
I have one question on next Tuesday night's conflict between the airport and the park.
Yes.
Is it possible, or will the airport consider moving that to a different date? I'm just asking, I'm just curious.
Yeah, they can consider that.
Because I'd like to see the park stuff too.
Are we evenly split, or do some of us need to make an adjustment? I mean,
No, the steering committee that's assembled, which is, the steering committee is tasked with, I'll be here with the manufacturers, and our park superintendent will be. I don't plan to attend the airport function. Certainly they can reconsider that. It's not a requirement that you're here, but if you're wanting to attend, you can choose one of the others. I'll check in with the airport that they would consider pushing it back.
Just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Move it up to noon, take back noon.
Or maybe, yeah. Yeah, they could do lunch and
And if
stuff.
anything were to move, it would be with the airport group. I know there's four vendors and manufacturers that, and they'll be each hour on the hour, 5 to 7, I should say, each of the 2 nights.
Don't they meet monthly out there? Is that what that is?
Yeah, the commission meets monthly. This was a meet and greet for elected
Okay.
officials,
Okay.
for the Board of Soups and you as elected officials to see all the recent improvements that have been happening, as well as the ongoing needs for improvements to that key facility. I'll look into that and let you know.
Just curious, thanks.
Would that be of interest to others, if that could be adjusted? Would like to attend both?
I would be interested in it. I mean, I know I RSVP to the airport thing, but I'd like to see the
Okay.
presentation as well. I mean, if it works out, if not, I'll stick to my
We'll look
previous.
into that.
Thanks.
Let you know.
I could do 9/10, but they'd have to move it off that week. So
Yes.
that would be my
Yeah, I think they're both
thought.
important things to do, but it must have been just somebody
Yeah,
didn't
it's
ask the other
information
one.
and updates, there's not key actions that are being taken with either of those sessions, and
Okay.
so there's not public action being taken in either of those sessions yet.
It's
Your
just
your
nice to-
desire to attend is awesome, so we'll see how we can adjust that.
It's just nice to see the rationale behind what we see over there. So can't be both places.
Anything else for Gene? Seeing none, we'll move on to my report. This has got a bunch of reappointments, looks like, to take care of. First one is reappoint Ron Buck to the Tree Advisory Environmental Commission for a 3-year term to expire in May of 2025. Look for a motion to reappoint Ron.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Lindberg.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg. Thank you.
Then we're looking to reappoint Kay Benson to the Veterans Memorial Auditorium Commission to a 3-year term to expire in April of 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaven.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next would be reappoint Ruth Ann Grimsley to the Board of Adjustment to a 5-year term to expire in July of 2027.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaven.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Last would be the reappointment of 3 people to the Planning and Zoning Commission to a 4-year terms expire in July of 2026 for Lori Stitz, Mary Johnson, and Russ Blankensop.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Blatt.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
And I don't mean to rush through that, but I mean, I do appreciate, you know, we've probably all served on some of those committees before we got to where we are now, but it's nice that they're reappointments, so they've been on those and they've agreed to do it again. So they're volunteers, so we do thank them for what they've done and what they're willing to do going forward. So that's, it's a strong, Harlan is a strong volunteer group in all those committees, and these are just a small example of people that are willing to kind of continue on. So I don't have anything else. I would look to Todd with the Shelby County Chamber of Commerce and Industry for an update.
Just a couple of quick points. To go along with the Ride Transit Week proclamation, just a reminder to the community, we still have the summer fun bus program through SWITA also. So if you need help during summer days, transporting your kids to the pool, transporting them to the free movies that start up next week at the theater, anything like that, and you need information about that program, please give us a call at the chamber and we'll get you set up so you can have safe and reliable transportation for your kids to get around while you have other things that you probably have to do. Also, this is Museum Week, National Museum Week, and we just happen to have 2 fantastic museums in Shelby County with our Museum of Danish America over in Elkhorn and our Shelby County Historical Museum. So just a shout out to them, especially after Log Cabin Day, because the museum did a fantastic job this past weekend. And speaking of that, just a thanks to Shelby County overall. What a great weekend we just had with Relay for Life, had great attendance. We had a wonderful concert up in Panama. Shelby County Speedway was just packed with cars and folks, and then finally Art in the Park and Log Cabin Days wrapped up the weekend, and everybody came down and had a great time. So let's keep it up, let's keep this momentum going as we enter into Parish Picnic season and a lot of other things taking place throughout. And if anybody needs any information on where can I go, what can I do to have some fun, give us a call out at the chamber. That's it for me tonight.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Harlan Municipal Utility Update. We got a 2-time in us tonight. It was like double team. 2 familiar faces.
Yeah, just a couple of quick updates. We've got our gas leak survey going on, so staff's running around town checking leaks. Also, the IUV inspectors are here checking our records and that type of thing. Other than that, we're working on the usual summer projects. Windstream and Mediacom are both making progress getting their media down, so we're starting to remove some of those poles now. So making progress on that as well. And that being said, I'd like to formally introduce my replacement CEO. I'm sure most of you know him or have seen him around, Mr. Ruschenberg, Joseph, call him Joe. But he'll be my replacement starting July 1. And just FYI, the Chamber is sponsoring an open house at HMU on Monday, June 20th, as a welcome for Joe in his new position. So you might want to mark that date. Joe, anything you want to add? Or?
And your retirement too, right?
I'm going to slide quietly out.
Cool event.
Yep, so anyway, any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, no, I look forward to working with Gene and the city. Moving forward.
Welcome.
Thank you. Congrats.
So we probably have one more meeting, Ken, with you, right?
At the last meeting of the month, yeah, on the 21st.
So we'll save a couple thanks for you for then, but thanks for bringing the new guy around to get to see his face.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comments from anybody? And I guess I've kind of, not seeing any comments, I've forgotten, open up the floor. Blatt, he's probably been bursting with information the last month and a half. I haven't given him a chance, but the mayor always looked to his left, looked to his right, so I'll look this way to see if he has any comments to make before we call it quits tonight. Nope, nothing on this side?
Just happy
How about over
Father's Day
here?
to
The new
Father's
guy,
Day.
got anything you want to,
Oh, there, she had a good one.
oh, she had?
I just said happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there.
Oh, that's right, it's coming up.
Yep.
And celebrate by coming to the flight breakfast.
And flight breakfast.
Yeah.
See you there.
Thank you, Todd.
Okay, nothing on this side either? Hopefully everybody voted today. Do our Blatt say you got an A+ because he voted? I guess give yourself an A+ for showing up, so.
You probably put X's though.
Yeah, you probably didn't do it right. But with that, we'll adjourn. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, Chad.